Hello, welcome. As you all know, my name is Julio Rivera. I have done my report on how development has affected Long Island ecosystems, specifically the Long Island Sound. By definition of the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the Long Island Sound has been designated an estuary of national significance. As we all know, estuary is where fresh water meets salt water. The big problem about this is that the watershed for the Sound is gigantic. There are approximately 8.5 million people living along the shores of the Long Island Sound. What this means is that it would be a very difficult task to try to restore and maintain the Sound for better water quality. Over the years, the population on Long Island and along the Sound has been growing, and with that, that means a lot of urbanization as well. And since there are so many people living along the shores, this has caused a lot of damage due to runoff, untreated sewage discharge, stormwater runoff, and the runoff includes stuff like unmaintained septic tanks, fertilizer from lawns, animal waste, stuff like that. What this has led to was hypoxia. We all know hypoxia is when there's low levels of oxygen in the water, causing marine aquatic life to leave their habitats, and if not, they would suffocate. Every summer, hypoxia affects about 162 square miles of the Sound in the base of the Sound, at the bottom of the water. Not only has the runoff caused hypoxia, but it also has caused the waters to get contaminated. The contaminated waters are affecting not only marine wildlife, but humans as well. This is due to heavy manufacturing and industrialization. This was also from the Industrial Revolution that effects are still affecting us. What they have done to try to fix this problem, we're using different management plans. And things seem to be turning around and making a great restoration process. But in that process, there are still very big issues. A lot of beaches are closing because of the contaminated waters. Some beaches have been closed for years, and there are still scientists that are posting closings every now and again because the water can actually make people sick from pathogens or disease-causing bacteria. And people can get sick just from swimming in the water or from eating raw or partially cooked shellfish from the contaminated areas. Another issue is the nitrogen concentration in the water. We all know that PCBs have a big effect on people. What it does is the fish in the water are eating, and when it gets further up the food chain, it begins to multiply, and then when we intake the fish, it can affect us. What they're doing to try to prevent this is an implementation of the total maximum daily load, TMDL for short. How the total maximum daily load works is through managing how they're going to release the waste from the wastewater treatment centers. Over a 15-year span, they plan on reducing nitrogen levels by about 58.5%, ending the year 2014. This is being done by upgrading several wastewater treatment centers along the shores, and it seems to have been working. Because since 2003, nitrogen levels in the water has decreased by about 25%. This is a great improvement for water quality. What it does is it uses bubble management, in which they would take wastewater discharge from several treatment centers and find out where the water quality needs improvement and move it to that area. This would allow for better water quality throughout the entire Sound. Some of the major issues, as I have already gone over, are the nitrogen concentrations in the water, hypoxic dead zones, and the contaminated water like pathogens and PCBs. So the top priorities are reducing nitrogen levels, restoring the habitats for the marine wildlife, and managing where waste loads from the treatment centers are being released, because they want to restore the water quality and they're trying to reduce nitrogen levels. So, like I said, nitrogen levels, they're taking care of that. Restoring habitats, they're taking care of that. Watershed management, they're taking care of that. Are there any questions? Yes.
How do they reduce the nitrogen levels?
Using the total maximum daily load, they've been making upgrades to the several wastewater treatment centers, and with that, they release the waste loads into different areas of the sound to improve the water quality. Yes.
Are the biggest offenders from Long Island, or is it worse on the Connecticut side?
It's actually from the New York area on the Western Basin.
So you're saying that what they do is they take basically clean water and pump it into dirty areas?
Yes, that's what they're doing.
It's like a pretty simple solution.
It does cost a lot, but they are working on it, and they're trying their best to reduce nitrogen levels.
And would they get this money from government funding, right?
Government funding and donations, stuff like that.
So government funding and charitable donations is their biggest monetary effort in dealing with this situation?
Yes.
So when they're taking the clean water and pumping it into the dirty water, how does that affect the sea level? Like, is there a balance? Where does the balance get created?
There's a balance because it's still running through its natural cycles. Instead of just dumping it where the wastewater treatment center is, they're just moving it around the sound, but it's still cycling through, trying to get better water quality throughout the entire sound as opposed to one specific area. So it's not affecting sea level really, it's just cycling through, and then when we get water through there, it just cycles all throughout the sound and the different watersheds going upstate and throughout different streams.
Like in the beginning when you were talking about like the salt water and the fresh water mixing in, like, is that changing like the sea level? Is that like affecting cold water?
No, because that's just what the Long Island Sound is. It's an estuary, and that's where it mixes.
Alright.
Any more questions?
Very nice.
Good job. Thank you.